Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back. Today I have a story for you. It is currently after Thanksgiving in the year 2020. 2020, as you may remember from your history books, is the year of the COVID virus. It's also the year that a lot of liberal governors decided that the people serve the government rather than having the government serve the people. And this goes against the Constitution that is supposed to be guiding the United States. But that's not what this film is about. This film is a story about what happened whenever I went out for my Thanksgiving dinner. Normally every year I head out to a restaurant that I know of that serves a Thanksgiving special. It's fairly good. It's turkey, trimmings, and a drink and whatnot, and the price is pretty good. And I went out there, and of course COVID is in full swing, and the governor has been beating upon the businesses in Columbus quite heavily, but this place did manage to be open during Thanksgiving. And I went into the place, so I arrived there about 2 o'clock, and I went in, and it was so depressing. Normally, even at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thanksgiving day, this place should have been packed. There should have been wall-to-wall people, tables with people around them, laughing and telling jokes and having their Thanksgiving dinners. But instead, there were 6 lonely tables spaced quite a distance from each other in the middle of the room. All of the booths had plastic partitions between them. They put plastic on all the chairs up at the bar so you couldn't go up to the bar and have your meal up there because, you'd be too close to another human being if you did that. And I went in, and as I said, it was about 2 o'clock, and it was really depressing. And one of the more depressing points about this is, whenever I go to this place on Thanksgiving, I always look around for the most decrepit, the most down and out person I can find. And I usually secretly buy their meal on my way out. But this place was so poorly packed that whenever I arrived, there couldn't have been more than 5 people in the place. And that was really, really sad. And as I went up, as I had my meal there, it did start to pick up a little bit in the business. But it was nothing like it used to be before COVID-19 and our governor, Mike DeWine, got a hold of the Ohio businesses. So as I was paying my bill, I was talking to the lady who was ringing me up, and she said, it's even worse for the waitresses. You don't understand. On a good Thanksgiving and Christmas are our most popular times. A waitress working a full shift on a Thanksgiving or a Christmas can make over $800 in tips. Look at the room. It's half full. Sure, we're selling stuff for people who call us up and pick up things, but they're mighty light on the tips whenever they pick it up themselves because they aren't being waited on. And so it was hitting even the waitresses as hard as it was hitting everyone else. So I got my money, and I put it in my wallet, and I turned to the people in the room and I said, "Screw DeWine," the name of our governor here in Ohio. "Screw DeWine." And several people laughed, and a couple of people yelled back to me, "Screw DeWine." And I went ahead and I left and I came home. About 3 or 4 hours later, I went back so that I could have my evening meal. Still Thanksgiving, 2020. And as I was being seated by the waitress, she looked at me and she goes, "Oh my God, you're him." And I said, "Him who?" And she goes, "You're the guy who started this." And I said, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "Watch." And she pointed up at the register, and there was a guy who was checking out at the register, and he was putting his card back in his wallet, and he was getting ready to leave. And right before he left, he turned to the room and he said, "Screw DeWine!" And every person in the room yelled back at him, "Screw DeWine!" And she goes, "You started this." Every time someone leaves, they yell to the room, "Screw DeWine," and everyone yells back, "Screw DeWine." And I'm going, "Are you kidding me?" And she's going, "No." And she's going, "The manager's tried to stop this a couple of times, but keeps starting up again. And our manager is just happy that you chose the word screw DeWine, because she admitted that you could have used some words that she wouldn't have been able to talk to her regional manager about. But she contacted her regional manager, and the manager instructed all the waitresses not to join in. Waitresses, cook staff, don't join in, but if the people want to say this when they're leaving, go ahead and let them. And she said, if you listen closely, if you're standing next to the kitchen, you listen closely, you'll hear some people in the kitchen saying the same thing. And sure enough, while I was having my dinner, every time someone left, they would turn to the people left inside and go, "Screw DeWine!" And everyone in the place would turn around and say, "Screw DeWine!" right back at them. And as my landlord pointed out whenever I told him this story, he said, "You notice that they're not saying screw COVID. They're screwing DeWine. They're saying screw DeWine." The United States Constitution says that the United States government serves the people. DeWine and all of these liberal governors have taken it upon themselves to make the people serve the government. DeWine is shutting down major portions of this state, turning them on and off like a light bulb, and it's destroying the small businesses. I was surprised this restaurant was still open. I read the newspaper, I look online every week, and there are businesses that you would not expect to have gone out of businesses that are closed. You can drive along storefronts, mini malls, and see nothing but plywood covering the windows. Out of business, out of business, out of business. And what's really disappointing is, I've heard people defending DeWine by saying, "Well, he says he's only doing this because he cares about us." And I laugh and I go, there has not been one dictator, one despot, one conqueror in all of the history of humankind that has said, "I'm slaughtering all of your people because I hate every single one of you. I'm taking away all your rights. I'm taking away all your weapons. I'm preventing you from going to your churches because I hate you." They always say, "It's necessary. I actually love you. That's why I'm doing these horrible things to you." And if I can get serious here for a second, it's getting sharp. Winter has set in. It's going to be cold for a while. They've got a virus that's supposed to come out. Who knows where that's going to go? They've got a vaccine that's coming out. Who knows where that's going to go? But I can tell you this. When the cops are going back into the locker room after keeping rioters in check, and they're taking off their body armor, they have to be taking off their body armor in the locker rooms and wondering to themselves, why am I defending people who call me a racist when they are 43 times more likely to be shot by another black man than they are to be shot by a police officer? Why am I defending these people who are spitting at me and throwing stuff at me? Why am I not arresting them? Why am I not putting them in jail? And it's because of people like DeWine, it's because of people like liberal mayors and liberal governors who have decided that policemen are bad. Thin blue line is bad. And that's going to have an effect. It's having an effect already. It's going to have more of an effect. And someday someone is going to stand up, and we're waiting for that person. Nobody wants to be the person stepping across the line. I'd do it, but you don't know me yet. But the entire population is waiting for that person to show up who will cross the line and say, no more. Who will say, you've corrupted this country, and you've taken away our rights, and we're not going to have any more. And the people of the United States of America, and possibly of the world, are waiting for that person who will stand up and say, no more. How do you feel, Bob?
Bob agrees.
Bob here is to keep me on track. Bob here is to make me stay steady. And if even Bob agrees, then you know it's getting serious. My name is Silo. This is Bob. These are my words. And until next time, screw DeWine.